first of all, thank you very much for giving your valuable time to us. And Cult Critic is very happy to get an interview with you. And so my first question would be, I have read about you and you have been a YouTuber for the first part of your career, and then you chose to get into filmmaking, and they are two very similar but yet very different forms of expression in a video expression, which you can express yourself. So why did you choose to become a filmmaker and not make YouTube videos anymore after that?
Well, actually, I have to say I disagree, because I think they're actually exactly the same. I started just because I love to watch YouTube and I love to watch a documentary, and I started to feel we could do better. In a lot of the video, actually, believe me, 7, 8 years ago, they were just content. They have no vocal, they don't have any narration. So I said, I'm going to do the same kind of video, but with narration. And then now you see everybody does it. I had about a little over 50, about 55,000 subscribers. But since I stopped devoting time, so about how I started submitted to film festival was when I start getting really excited to making my videos, and my family says, gosh, you make such poor quality videos, anybody can make. So I say, okay, well, I'm going to submit to film festival. If one film festival select me, it proof my videos are not junk. So I submitted the first week, I got one acceptance. I think First Friday Film Club, FFF something. It's actually later, years later, I found they're considered one of the top. But then I got encouragement, so I kept on sending, I kept on making more films.
So given us the differences, given us the similarities between the two different formats that you have explored, what would you say are the differences between the two forms of filmmaking?
Most of my documentary, if I feel it's a great message I need to share, even it would not help me financially, I will put on YouTube for free because I like to share the message. On the film that I spend more money making, like I do a lot of drama. Actually, people think I'm only a documentary filmmakers, but take Worldfest Houston 2022 as an example. Out of my 11 awards on the 11 films, I have 10 different categories. So I have from drama, comedy. On those, since I spend more money, I'm still hoping to break it through to distribution. Then I wouldn't put it on YouTube. That's the only difference.
But this begs a question, because you have won so many awards. It must mean that you can approach producers to produce your next content, and you would be able to ask them quite easily, because they have the guarantee of an award-winning filmmaker. So do you approach producers for your work, or do you just self-fund them always?
Well, I'm pretty sure if I try, then I definitely would turn heads. The reason I can win award month after month is every film you see, they may be alike, some like the documentary because that's my style, but they're all different. That's what's surprising people. So I know it's probably hard to outpace myself for 11 awards, but then I say, you know what? I want to go to countries that has less films got into the platform. I want people to know their cultural. So when I travel, I do travel a lot. As you know, that's why we delayed the interview. So when I was in Europe, I made a few films in Poland, and a few of them already won awards. And then of course I did in Taiwan and America. And I also went to Mexico and I did quite a few films in Mexico. So my goal is in November, I'll be traveling to Europe again. And then I already have one planned for Slovenia. I also plan to go to Serbia because I always want to do a story about the Yugoslavia war. Don't know if I get lucky, but I have been quite lucky. So if I can prove that I can go anywhere and make films, I think probably I can find more producer willing to bet on me.
this is also another very important and interesting thing, because you used to work as an accountant before, as I have studied. This entire shift of lifestyle from those days to now, does any of those, do any of those days inspire you right now, or have they been left in the dust entirely?
I still do taxes for myself, my family, because I have to. It's more like an obligation.
Mm.
And I'm also a realtor. I still buy, sell, and rent homes because that to pay for my passion.
Just looking
I've
for a
been
way out.
choked. I choked of my creativity. I
Yeah.
can't do anything that I want to, but I have to make money to pay for the bills, to pay the mortgage and pay kids to school. So I think it's another inspiration, because I think we all have it. We have talent. We just can't afford to show it because we have many obligations. So my advice, I didn't quit my job to start doing this. I make a video, doesn't take much time, put on YouTube, doesn't cost any money. When I start getting results, I spend more time. But then even when I spend a lot of time, I still do my other work because we all have obligations. But I think that's part of the reason some of us can go on with our passion without to really do something drastically.
You do pre-production yourself, you do the production, most of it yourself. You also take part in post-production, you edit your films yourself. So
I had
you
to,
take most of the
yeah,
responsibilities. Yeah, because of that
because
reason.
it's not like I didn't try. Every time when because the way that I do it, make it look so easy. So almost everybody working with me, they all want to try edit. So I I always encourage them. I say, okay, great. So I would come up with a price and I say, you do it.
Yeah.
And they couldn't. A lot of them gave
Mhm.
up. I just ended up having to do it
The
myself.
dynamic just doesn't work with you. But yeah, but because you had mentioned that your first films were edited in certain softwares, like, we never expect to edit our films on like a Microsoft PowerPoint or Windows Movie Maker. These
Yes.
are very basic softwares. PowerPoint is not even an editing software. So if you're trying to express yourself, software does matter to you. But has it proven a challenge to you?
Yeah, actually, it's really interesting because as a CPA, I actually am a certified public accountant, but my specialty is actually computerized accounting. So I do know Microsoft very well. I'm an Office master. So at the time when I started, I said, oh, I can make video with PowerPoint. So I started making videos with PowerPoint.
Nobody
The
expects that.
first year of my videos, if you check on my channel, they're made by PowerPoint. I won awards with it. And then but then I pushed PowerPoint to the limit, and one day it says can't handle something. They just give me a message. They can't handle my complicated way to present it. So
You didn't
I
mean
got
to do this.
actually Window Movie Maker. That's
Yeah,
free at the time. That was a long
yeah.
time ago. Oh, I said, oh, it is so much easier than PowerPoint.
I think
And
it
then
used
the
to
new
come with the
version,
computer preloaded and we just didn't
yeah,
know of it.
preloaded.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft just stopped providing Window Movie Maker
Yeah.
because it's so old.
Quite
And I
sad.
searched panically on the platform to find where I can get a Window Movie Maker. And then I found another computer I bought that has some preloaded cheap editing
Mhm.
software. I used that. And then um, a few years later, my computer broke. Oh, another one. I've been using Mojave since then. It's a
Yeah.
joke because it's $70, but I won so many editing awards. But then it works.
To make one film per day, like how can you even, how do you
Oh,
plan
okay.
to get that much
Yeah.
efficiency?
Well, one film a day is because if I do documentary, I write, I send it to my narrator, and then I edit together. I can do 3 films a day. I probably would do 3 films because,
How is that possible? It's great.
like for example, for me, I write as fast as I type.
Mm.
So I would write, I would send it to him, and I can do the edit. So, and then like today, because Queen Elizabeth got sick, and I realized, oh, actually, I have a script that's already completed. I just haven't worked on it. So I will finish the Queen Elizabeth today. Um, Plus, I already did the two Nostradamus. actually 2 or 3 I could do. But then when you do the films, that's a little different because you have the cameraman, you have the actor and actresses. So for that, I don't mind doing short because actually it's harder to do short than feature because you have to grab people's attention and you make a really powerful story, right?
Absolutely.
And then the other principle that I do is do not leave any film unfinished. I have people walking out because they get another job, they just don't come back. So I will have to find ways to wrap it up from 30 minutes to a 15 minutes.
How do you see that your craft has improved over time? If so, I mean,
yes,
the challenges
actually,
you used to face before, do you face them even now, or have the challenges changed?
This is another thing hard to believe. A lot of time when I finish my work, I don't have time to even watch it. So when I put on YouTube, when I do the premiere, it's the first time I watch it. Sometimes I found I forgot to edit out a sound clip or I put it twice, but a lot of time I don't even get to see it. However, many times when I win awards, then awards I don't expect, I'll go back and watch my film. And then I'll be very surprised to find how great I did. And every time I I become better. It's like training, like in-job training. And then about 2 years or 3 years after I start editing, I realized you can crop picture. I didn't know you can crop. I didn't know. So
That
I
must have been a
realized
revelation.
if you look at my older film, you will find, why didn't she just crop it? Because I didn't know how to crop a picture.
You have also mentioned that you don't always keep very healthy, so making so many films constantly, does that prove to be a challenge as well?
Well, I think being happy will make me a little healthier. So I feel better. But then I do, sometimes I have, in a way, you can say I'm workaholic because if I don't finish that, I don't want to get up. There was one time my phone at the end of the day says, congratulations, you worked 8 steps today. So the whole day I would be sitting in front of it. Oh, well, I walked 8 steps just to the bathroom. So, but then I believe this, okay? We came to this life. You can live a very long life and happy, or you can do what you love and be happy. I'd rather do that. If I, unfortunately leave you guys behind, I will have no regret because I did everything I could, the best I could.
I meant to ask you about Taiwan as well. Do you think that, have you seen Taiwan supporting documentary filmmakers? Is there do they provide platforms to showcase documentary films? Is there a culture of watching documentary films over there?
Well, they do. They actually have an organization that was supposed to support filmmakers. And I didn't know because, like I said, I'm self-taught. And one day I got this nomination from a Korean film festival. And I didn't know. I submitted only because it was free to submit. And I realized, wow, I'm the only film from Taiwan that got nominated. There's 2 films got selected.
I see.
And then I found both of them get their documentary film. Mine is a drama. And their film got money, lots of money from Taiwan. So I wrote to them and I said, I want to submit to...
So it was a government-funded film? That other
it
film
was a government funded or by a private, like nonprofit organization.
I see.
So I submitted to them and they want you to list every film you made and every film you won. Can you imagine how long it took me? I could make 20 films just by filling the application. And they rejected every request I made.
Many of your documentaries are about prophecies and Nostradamus as well. Is there any particular reason behind your interest towards these avenues of research? Are you a believer in prophecy yourself?
Actually, I believe I have a very special ability. The ability, I don't think comes with other people, but then it's not a psychic ability, but the ability to see what people don't see. Like Nostradamus, you'll see, everybody sees that, but they don't see what I see because I have an extremely open mind. It's like there's no limit the way I think. So when I see whether it's Chinese prophecy or it's Nostradamus, you'll see something. Anybody will see that, but they won't see what I see. And when I say, if you read my prophecy, you'll see, oh yeah, it makes sense. But before I say you read it, you probably will never think that way.
Yeah.
This does not only limit to prophecy. Well, I do a lot of prophecy is because, hey, I run out of material. Nostradamus wrote 942. So any news, I can just come and find something that no one saw before, and I will do it. And I'm very good with that because for those topics, you will not win an award because when you judge even award an award, people will think you're a little bit crazy too. So for them to give me an award, it takes twice as guts. And I won a lot of awards. Why? Because the quality and actually they're very, well edited or made. But then the other ability that's similar to this, but I also have that no one else have, or very few people have, is I'm terrible with music. I don't play any instrument and I can't sing, terrible voice. But when I hear music, I will hear what you don't hear. So a background music, I can write lyrics to it.
You are
and
a
that's
lyricist,
how,
so
yeah. And then when I write the lyrics, people were so touched. Like you will hear as if the music was singing to you, even without vocals. There are things in your mind that kind of imprinted, take you to certain pattern, but somehow I have no boundary. So when I hear or I see, it will just pop. It will be something that you never thought to be possible. And that's why when I write, I would type and I would just write a script. I can write and I don't even need to edit other than my grammar or spelling errors. It will just come out without any correction. It will be the way it is.
Most of the film consciousness without any limits.
It's just like it's all in me, and then my brain is not limited.
So what are your future projects looking like, both YouTube and in filmmaking? What do you have in store in the immediate future for us?
A lot of time when I'm busy, I will just write scripts because that actually take my mind out of. So every year when I was doing my tax return, you will suddenly see a bunch of new videos because I couldn't stand working on my tax return. So I would start writing and do things. And then this time, I stayed in Taiwan for 2 years because I'm afraid of getting infected. And finally, I came here, but then I said, well, I got full booster shot. I better travel before I can. So I've gone to I would say probably 6 or 7 cruises already, plus traveling to different festivals since April. And then I'll be going back to Taiwan, but then I'll be going to Europe. I booked 4 cruises to Europe. So everywhere I go, you can expect me to make some videos, and I hope to make videos that I haven't done before. But recently, I feel a lot of the video are has very social impact. Like the recent video about things that's happened about the Taiwanese being abducted. I can't tell you what I'm going to do because there's too many, but I can tell you I'm going to make a ton of films and they'll all be better than before.
This brings us to the end of our conversation.
Sure. Yeah, very nice talking to you.
Very nice talking to you. And finally, after so many months of waiting, thank you very much for your time.